Hey guys, welcome. My name is George Nassa. Today what I'm going to show you is how to make a shear prong band, and I'm going to show you how to make a U PAVE band. The U PAVE is much neater looking than the shear prong ring. The shear prong ring is very basic. What that means is one prong holds the two stones, where U PAVE you either make it with one prong holds two stones, but it's much safer when you do four prongs, but yet you can still see the diamond, and you can polish the background so it looks much larger. So I'm just going to try to draw an arcam, and I'm going to do both so that way you get an idea on how to do both. So first we're going to open the project. We're going on the model. We're going to go on the create rotary, and we're going to call this U PAVE, and we're going to accept it. Alright, so we're going to go into the actual drawing, which is the 2D, and we're going to do a few stones. So let's do this 3mm, which is 10 points on the diameter, create, and let's make sure that's F9 center. Hold the control and the alt, and by selecting that you can move them. Make sure you give them a little bit of space so when you offset them, you could actually offset them without having problems with the vectors touching. So if you feel they're too much apart, you could bring them in, but as long as make sure you don't the circles don't touch. Okay, so that's enough. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a shear prong band, very simple and quick. We only do it on the left side. We could copy to the right, but if you are adding stones, you need to copy both vectors to the right, so that way you can select all the vectors and you can actually convert them into gem vectors, which is under the gem tools. So it says convert vector to gem vectors. You need to do that, otherwise you can't add gems to them. That's because if you don't add it to the model, to the actual project, and it goes to the assembly, you could do it. But if you want to just stay on this page without adding to the assembly, you have to convert these. So anyway, let's make this very quick. So we're going to select them all, right click and group. And the reason I said make sure they space, so when you go to the offset button here, and you offset inward, let's do 0.5mm and offset, you're going to get all your circles in there. But if they were touching, it will not offset inward. Okay, so right click and group, and I will do it one more time in, and I'm going to show you why. So you make sure you select them and group them. Okay, so now we're going to add our prongs. So the shear prong normally goes in between here. You can do them different heights, but normally it's in the center that holds both stones. So let's make this about 1mm thick. You know, if you feel they're too thick, but after polishing and setting, they're not that thick. So one prong is enough, so we're going to select it. Control Alt hold together by selecting that. You move this and you move them across and make sure they're on the center. So it's holding both stones. So all you gotta do is just do one top. So now we're gonna copy everything to the bottom. So select the center line, hold the shift key down, select the top, and you're gonna go to the mirror tool and you're gonna copy that to the bottom. So there's your circle. So you're gonna select them all by clicking on the left mouse button, hold the shift key down, click in the corner and drag it across. So now you have them all selected. Right click and group them right away because you want to be able to move them as all at the same time. If I press Ctrl Z, it goes back to position. So now I'm going to draw my shank. There's many ways to draw the shank. You could make it high shoulder here, or you could just do a straight shank just from by either drawing a box, or you could do two rail sweep. So I'm just going to draw a simple box just to keep it simple for this demo. So I'm going to select the box. I'm going to draw it from here, this corner into this corner. Right click, escape. So you're going to go here. Make sure if you like that shank. If not, you could taper it by pressing N for node. Grab those two corners and bring them up on each side. So that way you have a nice tapered shank that will go to the bottom. So now we have everything selected. Our ring is ready to go into actual 3D modeling. So I'm going to select here. That will light this up. Okay, that gives you different views of the actual vectors. So we want the top views. So make sure you select all the vectors, F12. And you got to raise this. So if you hold the space bar and click on the left mouse button, you could twirl this so you can see the side view of it. So start height, let's do 2. You can see it, it's up here. So let's do apply, and so you can guys see it, and you can see it's over here. Okay, so let's put that in the center so you can see it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the center, and I'm going to press F12, and I'm going to go to the square, and you can see you don't want to go up, you want to go down, and you make sure this is on add. It's very important, so you have a seat for the stone. You say apply. While you're still in here, select those, okay, and escape, and you just zero that. So that gives you this option here, okay? So let's go back to F12. Okay, I'm going to select my prawns, and I'm going to do the top cone. Make sure it says merge high, not add, and let's do 3mm, and that will bring our prawns over that, over the actual baskets. Now, if I would have did add, you see what happens? So it's very important you do merge high. So let me show it to you without this here in the way, so you can see what happens. Your prawns all distorted. So make sure you do merge high. Apply. So let's go back and light this back up, and we're going to select our shank. And while we're there, we're going to do a half round shank, and we're going to do merge high, and we're going to do start height. Let's do 1mm. Okay, that's not selected. Let's put it back so we can see it. Okay, let's go to 2D. All right, let's make sure. All right, so we're going to select here, F12, and we're going to raise it a little bit here. You can see our shank, and we're going to give it a start height, and make sure it's on merge high and apply. Okay, there's the shank here. If you want a little bit higher, you can give it a more. You can see it changes before your eyes. Okay, so let's select it first, and you can see that changes right there. See how? So that's a good height. Apply and cancel. Now all you have to do is, if you click here, you'll be able to see the actual relief. So all you have to do, go to relief mirror merge, and you copy from left over right, and you can see the whole relief copied over. So now if you look at it in 3D, there's our model. Okay, so that's how you make a shear prawn band. Then you could add stones to it. So now this is an easy way to do it, and that's a basic look. It's kind of, it's getting boring. So if you want to make it more prominent, that means you want to see more of the stone, less prawns. They call those U PAVE. Okay. Now remember, it's very important to copy this over if you want to see the gems, which is I'm going to do that on the next lesson, which is part of this. Hey guys, welcome again. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over the U PAVE part of it. So it's very important that we start with a empty page. So that's your 3D. Okay, there's nothing there. And we start with the 2D drawing. We're going to draw just a simple band. A lot of the times when you do U PAVE, you take a plain band and you cut the prawns with a saw or a burr, and that's how you create your prawns. So we're going to treat it as if we had a plain band in our hand. So we're going to draw the first is with the box. We're going to draw an actual band. So let's make the height 4mm. Create and cancel. So make sure you select that box and F9 to center it. So we're going to draw 7 stones, which is, they're not going to be no bigger than 4mm. So 4mm, so it comes to the edge, create, cancel. You can see what it looks like. We're going to select it, Control Alt on the keyboard, and make 3 extra copies on each side. And we're going to go here. So we're going to select the center line, hold the shift key down, select the 3 that we just drew, go to the mirror tool, we're going to copy it to the right. So now we have 3 on each side, 1 in the center. So we're going to select them all, right click them, and group them. Okay, we're going to select that, we're going to offset it inward as if we're going to draw something. So let's make this 0.75, offset it, right click and group. Okay, so now we're going to draw our ring. So we're going to give it a height, F12, give it a little round look, and do the start height, maybe 1mm. And this is what our band looks like right now. So apply and cancel. So this is how we're going to treat this. We're going to punch the holes through it. So 0. And we're going to start cutting our prawns right now. Okay, so this is just the bezel ring. We're going to cut our prawns here. We're going to cut them across here. So that way we end up with nice 4 prawns on each corner of the stone. So we're going to draw boxes. You could go outside to the white area. Okay, so F9, center. And if you take this and copy it over by holding the control and the alt, now you end up with the prawn here and the prawn on the bottom. Okay, because once you sink this in, so we're going to draw these. This one could be a little bit larger because you want a nice wide area. So press N for node and bring this out a little bit. So the more you clear it, the better the prawn looks here, and the wider this illusion looks behind it. So when you polish it, it gives you a nice shiny look behind the stone, and makes the stone look much larger. So this is the area we want to be here. So those are your prawns. We're going to clear all this stuff, material out. And we're going to draw a circle here, which is for the prawn later. So the prawn goes here, for just for the extra skin on top of the prawn. Okay, so it's going to look like this. So we're going to copy this over. So we're going to copy these over. We're going to go all the way to the edge. So we have our prawns. So now we're going to start drawing these here. So I'll take this, I'll bring it one over here, and so forth. Okay, just little prawns on top that gives us an extra meat. Okay, so that way when we raise them, they're gonna look square, but that way it gives us a little bit extra meat that we could fold it over the prawns. Alright, so we're gonna select the center line, hold the shift key down, copy all those prawns to the bottom by using the mirror tool. We're gonna select all those prawns, hold the shift key down, select them all, right click and group them. So now we're going to start cutting the ring up. Okay, so we're going to copy one more of this, go here in the center as well. Okay, so we copy all of this over. So now we have our trimming boxes that we're going to trim this with. We don't need to do it on the right because we're going to copy. So we need to draw one more box, which is in the center. Again, you're going to treat this, if you actually took your burr and you want to trim everything, so that way you could create your illusion look. But that's saving you time because you're doing it in Arcam. So so let's see here. We have this here we're going to trim with. We're going to get rid of all this extra material. So let's start doing this. Let's see the look we're going to get. So let's look at this here. I'm trying to find a good view that you could actually look at it. There you go. So let's try. Bring this down. Alright, so let's start with these guys here. Hold the shift key down, select them all. You could right click and group them and do the same thing with these guys. Right click and group. Okay, so we're going to trim this, press F12, go to round and make sure it's on add, and you want this pulled down. Now you can see it trims it down for you. So you're going to decide how low you want it. That way how much you want, because you don't want it too thin. So use your own judgment. Okay, how on the height and stuff like that. So apply. So this is the actual look so far. So once we groove this, we use these guys now to create the prawns with. Okay, F12. So we're gonna repeat the same thing. We're gonna go to round, make sure it's on add, and you pull this down. So that cuts our prawns. Now we created the prawn. You can see them. They're starting to appear. So let's shut this so you can see it. So we grooved here. These are our prawns here. Again, you could go as low as you want. You decide where you want to stop. So apply and cancel. So let's take our center trim. Okay, and we're going to subtract that just a hair down. And it's very important that we use merge low. Okay, so we're gonna keep it plain and we go to merge low, and we're gonna choose the height. The whole height of the ring, I believe, is like 1.5 millimeter. So let's go here. Yeah, 1.5. So we can go 1.25. Let's add it here, and it's on merge low, and make sure that's selected. And you can see, kind of see that's too low. Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't fill this in. So 1.25. So you get that. Now you get the 4-prong look on each one. You can polish in between. So let's shut this. So that's the look you got. So your prongs already appeared. You could just finish right now. So let's copy this over so you can see what it looks like. So we go to this tool here, which is Relief Mirror Merge. And now this is the looks of our band. So our band pretty much all done. Okay, so if you want to trim it a little bit more by pushing this back to make those a little shorter or smaller, you could do that, you know. But that's how you're going to make your U PAVE. So when you polish it, you have a nice look. You can see how pretty that looks. And it appears much larger when you set your stones. So let's see, the reason I added these guys here. So so when I do F12, I'm sorry, yeah, F12, you're going to add on top of those prongs a little bit. We're going to do the add. Okay, you could give it a little bit of start height, 0.50. So it gives you a little bit of extra prongs if you want. And so they could be a little bit bigger too. So we go a little bit bigger. So let's cancel this. And let's delete those. Okay, it's going to be fast. So if we go here, alright, so let's shut this. We're going to go in each corner. Okay. I mean, right now, you could be more, perfection on this. Okay, copy these. And we do one more in that corner. I said later you could make them, perfect and so forth. This is just, they might not be 100% perfect the way I want them, but if I was really making it, they'll be perfect. So we're going to copy this to the bottom. Okay, we're going to select them. Hold the shift key down, select them all, right click and group. And we're going to try this again. We're going to raise them, and let's see how they look. So add, give it a little bit of height. And these, if you do merge high, you get a much cleaner look. You see how they kind of like slanted here? So if you do merge high and you do this 1.25, let's go 1.50. Let's see how they look. You can see it's much cleaner look. Okay, and I said we could trim this back a little bit. Okay, let's go a little bit higher and apply and cancel. And let's copy this to the left to right. So there's our prawns. So we have, all this is acting just like a little extra meat, because once you set your stones, they're going to be set lower. Okay, so that's what it looks like now. So let's add some gems to it. Let me show you the side profile. So that's the nice look here. You can see it from the top, sides. Okay, I noticed on the shank here, make sure if it goes to the end. Okay. So let's try to add some gems now to make it nice and quick. So let's shut this. So make sure you grab all the circles, and we're going to right click here in the corner, and let's bring this over. We're going to go to gem tool. Okay, we're going to convert them to gem vectors first. Select stone, diamond, they're 4 millimeter, and accept. They're going to turn red. You've noticed they're all red now. So we're going to select them all. By holding the shift key down, you could just click on them and grab them all. So we're going to go to this tool here, create gems. And it's going to give us star height. The ring, I know it's 1.5 millimeter. Don't select this here, position around the ring, and accept it. So, because right now you can see it only went 1.5, so let's go, okay, we don't put 1.5. Let's rebuild it so that they might be a little bit high, so bring them down a little bit and rebuild here. So you play with it where you want them to look, just to show the customer where they appear. So let's try 1 millimeter. There you go. So that's the nice look you're gonna get. Let's get this out of the way. Close this guy, we don't need it. And that's the nice look you're gonna get. Except, so now you can see how the prongs sit up there nicely, and you could polish under the ring, and you give it a nice illusion look, so the stone appears much larger, and it's totally different from the sheer prong look. And that way, you have a much nicer look, and it's much easier. That way, all you gotta do is just set it. So once you mill this, all you gotta do is just set it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please don't forget to subscribe. And thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon.